Welcome to another edition of the TSS podcast, brought to you in association with Luke 1977 and Bowden and Dolphin, with your hosts Rob Carless from Bob's Books and the legend that is Shaun Teale. He's here, there, and everywhere, and he's Tealey saying something.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the TSS podcast. You all know the abbreviation by now. It has been a few weeks, so I'll just remind you of it. It is, of course, the Teale Saying Something podcast. And, of course, the Teale in question is Mr. Shaun Teale, an absolute legend of the game, whether it be in the lower leagues or whether playing in the echelons of the top league as well. Gave his all for whoever he played for, and is well liked at the clubs that he did represent. So we did a book together about 3 or 4 years ago now, and we got on so well we decided to carry this on into the podcast world, and this is where we are. So before we get into the show and welcome Shaun back, because it's been 4 weeks now, just a big shout out to our sponsors, Bowden and Dolphin Signs, and of course Luke 77, who make everything possible for us. So Shaun Teale, how are you today?
I'm very well, Rob. How are you?
I'm very well, mate. It's Christmas. I'm going to start going down.
Don't do Christmas.
Chimneys. Except I won't be doing Birmingham City chimneys, of course, in a couple of years' time, but that'll be a different thing. We'll talk about that with Browne in just a while. So it's been about 3 or 4 weeks since we last had our podcast for various reasons, and we'll go into that in a couple of minutes. So have you been in Spain in the last 4 weeks, freeing things up again? Do you notice I said freeing there?
No, I've not been back.
Yeah.
No, I don't. We probably won't return to the brother-in-laws till probably April, May of next year. Now we've got a lot on me and Carol at the moment, so it's just a case of getting through everything we need to get through first.
Okay, good. And then you'll be sunning yourself free of charge, of course.
Of course, be rude not to.
Yeah, Browne, come on, step in. Sorry. Am I the only one taking the urine out of him because he's getting free holidays?
I'm not got back into the swing yet. No, no, you carry on. I'll just jump in and agree with you.
He's the Judith Chalmers of football, isn't he? Definitely. I think he's got more stamps on that passport. So in that last 3 or 4 weeks, we've seen the rise of the Lions. Start of November, we lost to Liverpool, the only team to do so until this weekend. And I want to talk about Liverpool as well once we've done things with our special guest tonight. But we've seen the rise of Aston Villa again, and now we're in that top 4 positions. Have you been to all the home games? And we'll talk very briefly about one of those games being the Maccabi game and what happened there. But have you been doing your ambassadorial role at Villa Park in Europe and the league?
Yeah, I have. I've been to every game. I've not missed one. I don't think I've missed one in about the last 5 years, if I'm quite honest. So yeah, I've been to all the games, European and Premier League games, including the Maccabi game. So it's been interesting. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Because apart from the Bournemouth game, we haven't really played that well. But because Villa Park's such a fortress, we just seem to get the job done every time we play there. So, the away games are always the worry, But having said that, we've been to Leeds and got a great 2-1 win. We went away in Europe and got a great win. So, things are going well.
Yeah, I mean, this is I can't remember it being like this, in fairness. But we've got players, we've got game changers that can do things not necessarily inside the box, as been proven in the last couple of weeks. And you're right, it hasn't been a great team game. We seem to be a better second half team at the moment. You mentioned we beat Bournemouth 4-0. That was a bit of a different one. But yeah, they've been close games, but we've come out winning them.
We just seem to have, during every game, we seem to have somebody, and it's usually a different player every week, who just steps up and gets us what we need, which is the one goal to win the game. Go back to the City game, Matty Cash, steps up, fires it in the bottom corner, we win the game 1-0. Boubacar Kamara the other day, an unbelievable strike. But Wolves had made it really difficult for us. They'd set the stall out. They with a low block, and then every time we got anywhere near them, they just kicked us, and it was quite annoying, really, trying to watch a game of football when it was just stop, start, stop, start. And thankfully, a bit of magic from John McGinn out wide lays the ball into Boubacar and pile driver into the top. And the rarest thing is it's Kamara that scored it because he didn't get many. So it was nice to see him celebrate.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves had some good chances in that game as well. Do you think that, the one where it was offside, where they gave offside and they scored the goal? I wasn't sure at the time that his view was being obscured by the Wolves attacker.
Well, I think with the whole VAR thing now, if a player is in front of the keeper, whether he can see the ball or not is irrelevant. I think they're going to give it anyway now. They're going to say is in the line of fire, so they're going to give it. I mean, we've seen quite a few this season, very similar to that have been given. So did it surprise me? No. As soon as we actually thought that the lad that was wide was offside. First of all, that was our first thought, and then it wasn't until I think Colin Gibson said to me or Coxey said to me that no, I think it's the lad in front of the keeper, in front of Martinez, which it turned out to be. But to be fair, we have to thank Emi Martinez because he made a couple of absolute stunning saves in that game.
We can't sell him, can we? We can't let him go in January. There's not a chance. Can we do that?
No, I mean, there's not many keepers would have pulled that save out and tapped it onto the bar just before half time. Because if we'd have gone one down to them, it would have become really, really difficult for us to get back in the game, I think.
Well, they would have just completely parked the bus, wouldn't they? For the rest of the
game. They
did
anyway. They just played on the break, it's easy to say, well, if they park the bus, they'll never get out. They're always going to get out at some point. And they had a lot of pace in the team. So, and it got a bit, tempers got flared a few times, which I like to see anyway. I mean, that's going back to my day when people kick 10 tons out of each other. I love all that. Later on that night, I watched the Arsenal Chelsea game, and that was as good. There was some challenges in that, some juicy challenges, and there was a bit of needle all night in that game. So it was good to see. Back to the old days, I say.
I didn't see the Chelsea Arsenal game. We were doing something else, but from what I can tell from Chelsea fans that I know and Arsenal fans, it was a real full-blooded, old-fashioned game that that could have been played in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yeah, it was very, very much so. I mean, obviously Caicedo got sent off, and rightly so. It was a nasty challenge, really. I'm not saying he meant it, but once you go over the top and your foot's coming down someone's ankle or shin, then you've little chance of staying on the pitch, I don't think. Having said that, we had one in the Villa Wolves game where the lad literally jumped in 2-footed, and it went to VAR. He went to look at the screen and just booked him, and it's there's so much. There's so many things go wrong with VAR where one ref gives one thing and one gives the other, and they've got to try and tally it all up. So if he does that, he's off. If he does that, he stays on, because it's getting ridiculous week in, week out. Where we had the Virgil van Dijk thing the other week, same kind of thing in front of the keeper, and it becomes really annoying for supporters when they're paying good money and goals are being chalked off in one game, but the same thing in the other game, they're not being chalked off.
Yeah, well, that's a really good point. I was going to get this raised, so I'm glad that you've done that. But I watched the game on TV. You're there in your role, right? It aggravates me that there's 2 or 3 minutes where people in the studio and referees on the pitch, they can't make a decision between them, and it goes into 2, 3, and sometimes 4 minutes.
Well, it's even worse. It's even worse in the ground, because
that's what I was about to say to you. But you
get no information whatsoever. So all it does is something will flash on the scoreboard like possible offside, and that's it. So you don't know anything that's going on, and then it goes on. 1 minute goes, 2 minute goes, 3 minute goes, and you're thinking, well, I thought they went to automated offsides this year, or semi-automated offsides, which was supposed to speed it all up, and yet it very rarely does. I mean, we've had the stupid decisions about foot and armpit. So if your armpit's level with the other player's foot, you're onside. But they were taking it off somebody's hand and giving them offside. It was ridiculous. It was just really strange.
Well, that's what we're seeing on the TV, because obviously we're getting that information before you do. So, you'll get the co-commentator going, I think he's going to give this as offside or handball or whatever. That comes through. So we do get some of it. But if you remember, one of the biggest things about VAR when it started 4 or 5 years ago was the fact that it took 4 or 5 minutes for decisions to be made.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
then it seemed to get better.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
For me now, it's gone back a little bit. And
I agree.
Decisions are not being made quick enough.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think, listen, at the end of the day, we really want refs to ref. We don't want VAR to ref, because if that's the case, you may as well take the referee off the pitch and just do everything by camera, and just have a loud whistle in the stand that, if it's offside, the whistle in the stand blows and it's given offside, because it's getting that way now that VAR is actually refereeing the game and not the referees doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be good if sometimes referees go, no, I'm keeping that to that decision. This is how I see it.
Totally agree.
But for the people that pay to go to these matches, and let's face it, we're talking about a few pretty green to get into ground these days. Birmingham City are having the same, right? And Coventry at this moment in time. You don't want to be in there and having 4 or 5 minutes of just waiting around, and your striker has put the ball in the net. He's standing around. It's just not right for me.
Well, it's took all the celebration out of a goal, hasn't it? Because every single goal that goes in is looked at by VAR. So all of a sudden you can celebrate, but then it goes into that muted stage where everybody's looking around thinking, is it going to be given? Is it not? And then there's like a semi congratulations once the goal is actually given. And but by that time it's gone and the supporters have forgotten about it, really. Where the supporters want to, if we put the ball in the back of the net, supporters want to be able to celebrate it straight away. And enjoy that moment, because that's what football is all about, enjoyment.
It is. So if you score a moment, isn't it?
Yeah, if you score a goal, then it's all about that.
Yeah, and it's just absolutely killing. I mean, to me, and we'll put this to our guest tonight and Brownie. To me, football isn't science. It's not all. No. It's not about science. It's about that emotion of that moment. You can go back to 71 when Bomber Browne scored that goal for West Brom against Leeds, if you remember. And he was 1,000 miles offside for that particular one. But these things go into folklore, don't they? But I guess the fact that you've the owners that we've got are worldwide these days and are multi-billionaires, aren't they? Whereas before it was somebody that was worth $500,000 and things like that. It's just got a bit crazy with the way.
And the whole game is now a business, isn't it? So, you can live or die on refereeing decisions now, or VAR decisions, really, because it can change where you are in the table from 1 minute to the next. We go back to the United game at the end of the season for Villa. Morgan Rogers pinches the ball off the keeper. It's without doubt not a foul. Puts the ball in the net. We go 1-0 up, and then all of a sudden we're in touching distance of Champions League. Referee gives the foul. We get beat. All right, we get beat 2-0 in the end, but that might not have happened if we'd have gone 1 up, because we could have changed the way we played. But that cost us Champions League, so we end up in the Europa League, which could actually be a blessing in disguise in the sense that we could win that. Would we win the Champions League? Who knows? But you would probably say it would be doubtful. Second year in it to win it, so it might be a little bit of a blessing in disguise, because we certainly can go right through the Europa League and win that.
let's talk about Europe. I mean, let's go back to when we came back into it 2.5 years ago, and we were in the Conference League and we played the Age of Warsaw. We were terrible in that. We lost 3-2. We were terrible in that game. We hadn't played European football for a long time. Now, the big thing I'm noticing is we are playing as a European team in football now. You know,
I mean, it's all about
possession based. Of course it is.
Yeah, it's all about experience. I mean, Unai Emery likes to have total control on the pitch, and what I mean by that is that he wants the team to have total control. So he wants us to keep the ball, not give it away silly. Even if it means coming back 30 yards to keep possession, we do it, and we do it even in the Premier League. So he wants total control. He wants us to go forward at the right times, at pace, but the rest of the time he wants us to control the game. He doesn't want us giving the ball to them and letting them come at us all the time. And certainly the Conference League that first year was a massive learning curve. And in a way we sort of let ourselves down because we had enough good players to have done better than we did in that. You go to the Champions League last year. Now, I suppose in all truth, nobody really expected us to waltz into the top 8 and be there, when the league system was finished, which, for Villa was a massive achievement, and then we give PSG 2 great games, to be fair. Yeah. And with a little bit of luck and a few less mistakes, because obviously, if you remember, Emi Martinez made a mistake in the second game trying to stop a cross and palmed it to Hakimi. And they scored early and then they went 2 up. But, we showed our pedigree by coming back 3-2. And I think this year, apart from the go-ahead Eagles game, that, we should have won anyway. We had enough of the ball. We had enough of the ball. We had enough chance. We should have been 4 up at half-time anyway. We missed too many good chances.
Absolutely.
But in all the other games, we've been in total control, really. Yeah. Total control.
Yeah, we have. Do you think we're going to win that competition?
I think we've got a really good chance of winning it. Yeah, I think we're favourites anyway, but we're favourites not because of the team. We're favourites because of Unai Emery and what he's done in that competition before.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is nice to hear, but it doesn't really make us favourites because the favourites are usually the proven team in there. And there's quite a few teams in there that have done really well in that competition for a few years now. So it won't be easy.
No, it's our 3rd consecutive season back in Europe after that 12-year hiatus. Whatever it is. Hiatus, okay. Right.
Hiatus.
Oh, yeah. I bet
hiatus.
I bet you do. Right. So, you mentioned Olympiacos in that semi-final, that we should have gone on and won that. Why, in a lot of ways, Olympiacos play year in, year out in Europe.
Yes. Yeah. So, because of the league they play in. They win that league or come second in that league every single year.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the biggest. It's far harder for a Prem team to get in there year on year than it is in any other league, I would say. You look at PSG. Yeah. PSG are going to be in Champions League every single year because they always win it.
Yeah, they are.
Barcelona and Madrid are always going to be in it because they always end up 1 and 2. Yeah. We're as proven this year. Liverpool won the title, but look where they are now. So it's so much tougher being an English Premier League team to get into Europe year on year than any other league in Europe. Definitely.
Well, here's one for you. Obviously, you know that my one of my next books is Aston Villa from 2009 to 2023. In that, right, in my research, if we get into Europe next season, and we'll come off the Villa now because obviously we've got other things to talk about, but if we get into Europe next season, we broke a record there. We have never done 4 consecutive seasons. We've done 3 a few times, but we've never done 4. So that's one thing to note there.
And I suppose the easiest way to get back into Europe is to win the Europa Cup and go into the Champions League.
Well, that's I think it's our best chance of doing so. But it remains to be seen. So we haven't done this show for a couple of weeks now. One of the reasons is that Chrissy Browne and the Tilton Talk show were up for one of the awards in the Digital Content Awards that took place. Where was it, Chris?
It was at Ellen Road.
Ellen Road.
Yeah.
Ellen Road.
Ooh, dirty Leeds.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, yeah, it was.
So
Well.
we were all on the day, myself, Teale, and a few of the others were, voting for you just because you do a great show with
we got loads of
the
votes.
What was the experience like, Chris? Come on.
Oh, it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Did you get free food?
Food was absolutely super.
And you didn't have to pay for it?
Of course we did, yeah.
Oh, you did?
Of course we did, yeah. I'm not going
That's scandalous.
I know, yeah. I'll tell you
Should have
how
put
much it
Teale
was.
involved.
£150
£150
a ticket.
Wow. Even though you were up for the award?
Yeah.
Goodness
So
gracious.
I saw Claire there and a few of the others. Craig I saw as well.
Yeah.
And I think Paul was there. So you all had to pay £150 each?
Well, we actually got it half price in the end, but that's how much it would have been.
So you still pay £75 per person?
Yeah.
This is why Teale will never become a content creator because they'd have to pay for food. And, he doesn't like doing that.
No.
But it was a good experience.
Oh, it's fantastic, yeah. So that's our third time there. So 3 times nominated. Just missed out again.
So how many? I think there were about 15 clubs, weren't there, or something?
Yeah, there's
like
15 in our category.
And was it all EFL teams?
Yeah, all in our group. Yeah, it was all EFL teams. We were beaten by one of the clubs. Were Posh, the Posh Cast.
Is that Peterborough?
Peterborough, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what team won it?
That's the team that won it. Posh.
Oh, the Posh.
Posh Cast, yeah.
So really, there should be 2 categories, shouldn't there? There should be those that are backed by the club and then a separate one for independent.
Yeah, I think so. But,
And then you can charge the £200 a ticket.
Yeah, we lost,
Teale, that's twice I've lost to Peterborough this year.
And the Villa podcast.
Ooh.
And the Villa podcast.
Yeah, that's because we're not EFL, mate. We're EPL.
No, in the Premier one.
Oh, right, okay. Who won the Premier one?
I don't.
Oh, right, so you never stopped for that?
No.
Okay, so did you come straight back?
We did, yeah. We were so disappointed.
Okay.
But it was a good day. Enjoyed it, and it was on the day that the fantastic, brilliant stadium was announced.
It was, wasn't it? Bit of a but. I mean, Gabby Agbonlahor was there as well from Talk Sport in the daytime.
Yeah, we watched it going up. Yeah, what a stadium, eh?
So let's talk about it then, right? Okay. I've said to you, Teale, you can jump in on this part. I've said to you that a city like Birmingham needs to be like the teams in the Northwest and London. We need to have, great stadiums in a great city. So bring it on as far as I'm concerned. But I don't like the chimneys. I've got to say it. I don't like the chimneys.
It took me a long time. But once I saw the designs and videos and how it's all going to work and why they are chimneys.
Yeah, well, there's a question. Why are the chimneys there?
Okay, so the original...
He's got this written down now, you know that, don't you? He's been dying for us to ask that question.
The original idea was to have... They were going to be metal structures, just like every other club. They have a metal structure. But why not have something that, encompasses our heritage, the Midlands heritage, Industrial Revolution. So that's basically the idea.
Yeah,
it's you're not impressed at all, are you?
I like this the stadium design, and like I say to you, I welcome better stadiums. It keeps Villa on the toes, and as well as I do, we both need each other.
I think a lot of people don't like change. I mean, look, it doesn't look anything like anything that's ever been done before.
That's true.
Or anything. So people are obviously going to mock it, or think.
But your marketing department have played a blinder, because whether you like it or not,
they know the stuff.
People are talking about it.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, they're clever. Yeah, very clever.
Tom,
Wagner.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
TW, right?
Yeah.
Him and his marketing team have played a blinder there, because everybody's talking about it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not. The people say talk about the soulless bowls. I think that's more of an early noughties thing, where your Southamptons and your Derbys and all that kind of stuff. But I think it would have looked better without the chimneys, personally. But like I say, your marketing department have played a blinder.
As I say, it's only an animation. It's not. It's probably not. I don't know if it's going to actually look like that when it's finished.
And maybe too many chimneys.
They may be smaller.
Yeah, Yeah,
There
yeah.
was a reason there was 12, but I can't for the life of me think of one.
Could have just put one in the middle of the pitch. That would have done the job.
Do you know what? And that's, like when there's a new pope.
Yeah, they've all been done.
I've seen them all, and I've seen you've been goading Villa fans online.
Oh God, yeah,
to
yeah.
give you more.
It's funny.
I refrained from it. Did you notice
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
But
On an important note, they've started more work on the North Stand this week at Villa Park.
now they have. I've seen the
On
pictures.
the group of sheds.
Oh,
Yeah, they've started.
got a chimney.
They've started taking down the corner flag.
Yeah, I know.
I bet that was hard.
Okay, right. Okay, we've been really nice to you. Okay, talking about the Birmingham, it needs all this, so just remember that. But no, it does need it. Our city does need it. So let's see what happens in a few years' time.
We're helping you out. Don't forget
exactly
the, infrastructure. So
now, one of the teams that were in the category to win your content creator was Sheffield Wednesday, and of course we had Chris Kirkland from. Who played for Sheffield Wednesday on our last one. And we had the Berry chairman, and we spoke about grassroots football. So I like the theme of that. So we're going to continue it with today's show. A couple of weeks ago, Tealey got in touch with me and said, I'll give your number to a guy called Dan. He's going to give you a call about the Northwest football community. Right? I don't know what it's about, but let me know what you speak to him.
Rob, it's Northwest Community Stars.
Yeah, that's what it's football community. So we'll let Dan talk about that in a minute. So I've since spoken to Dan and the story of how grassroots football in the Northwest in terms of communities and ex-players and all that. It really is a really good story. So I've invited Dan on as guest. He's got some fabulous footballers that have played at the top and not at the top or getting into that. So there's a few legends there, and Shaun Teale plays there. So welcome to the TSS podcast, Dan Ferguson. Hello, sir.
Hiya, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Okay? Nice one.
Good. When we had our conversation, Dan, I didn't know where it was all going to go. And when you started talking about it, of how it's gone from its genesis to what it is now, it is a remarkable story. So tell me a little bit more, Dan, or tell our viewers as well, a little bit more about what you did in the Northwest and how it's being replicated in the rest of the country and how the FA have got involved. So go back from the beginning on it, Dan, and let us know how you got involved in that.
Well, I've been involved in charity football for quite a few years now, as I've always been with Shaun, sort of doing that. And then me and Shaun done another project a few years ago. And then I got an illness. I had like a mini stroke, so I gave up doing charity football. And then the police got in touch with me one day, and they asked me would I be interested in helping in the community with kids, sort of thing. So the first person I got in touch with was Shaun. And I said, the police have been in touch, Shaun, what do you think of this? And he said, yeah, let's go ahead. So to build that part, we were coming up to probably for next year now with the kids. Next year will be our fourth year now, but we had to build a Northwest Community Stars football club to raise money. And it's all like ex-pros and semi-ex-pros. And Shaun was the manager. But Shaun is now the director of coaching at the club, which is going to come in next year when we've got bigger plans for next year for soccer skills and whatever for underprivileged kids. And I think you can jump in here and all, Shaun. We've got some good players. We've got Ricky Lambert play for us, Alec Baptiste, all lads based in the Northwest that have played football in the Northwest sort of thing for Northwest clubs. But in the 3 years now, Stu Barlow and that, yeah, we got quite a lot, yeah. And we've met some good people along the way, haven't we, Shaun? Like Cy King from the Head of Bikers, Speedo Mick and all that. Yeah, they're all impressed with what we do.
Yeah, we I mean, the structure of it basically is that we put a game on, we get a load of sponsors involved who do all sorts for us. I mean, we don't pay for any kits, we don't pay for anything like that. That's all done through sponsorship. Then we arrange the games, we play the games, and then every single penny that we make goes to the charity that's named. So we did a game. There was a young man killed tragically when a tree fell on him during the storms of last year, Paul Fiddler, and we played a game at Bamber Bridge for Paul Fiddler's family, really, to help them, to make sure they were secure. And we had such a massive turnout. We earned so much money that it was that good. We did it again this year. But it's not just about individuals. Sometimes we did one at AFC Blackpool very early on that was all about being a food bank in a sense. So basically, we asked people to send whatever, whether it be clothes, whether it be food, whether it be this, whether it be that. And we were inundated. And on the day when we got there, all this stuff was in one room and it was piled high. You could barely get in the room. It was ridiculous.
So it was a wagon full of stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'll basically, providing they contact us early enough, we'll take on any charity. We'll do what we can for any charity that comes to us and says, "Listen, what do you think about playing a game against such and such?" I mean, Dan mentioned the Hairy Bikers, so obviously Dave from the Hairy Bikers who passed away, and they have Dave's Day up in Barrow. So last year there was no game. This year, because they were doing Dave's Day again, we decided we'd play a game. So the game itself was sort of hit and miss in the sense that most of the things that go on the Saturday, and we played the game on the Sunday. So the crowd wasn't probably as good as we thought it would be, but that became irrelevant because the team we played against were all motorbike enthusiasts. So we played against a Hairy Bikers 11. Yes, we won the game by a cricket score, but it didn't matter because what happened from there is that Hairy Bikers team is affiliated to us now, and they've stuck together and they're carrying on playing. That's so brilliant. Yeah, so it's about getting people to enjoy playing football, and most importantly, making money for whatever charity we're working for, making as much money as we can, because every last penny goes to that charity. We don't keep a thing. If you look at our bank account, it's zero, and it'll always be zero because we don't keep anything back. We just don't keep anything back. You know, we've got a game down in Norwich next year. We could end up playing all over the flipping country the rate we're going. However, since then, Dan's told me that they've had other people on that want to set a Northwest Community Stars team up in their area. So I think Southampton's one they're looking at. We're looking at one in Scotland.
And the North East.
Yeah, North East, in Anglia. So obviously, the more teams we can build around the country, the more we can dedicate the money to different places and different charities. And the other thing that Dan sort of pointed out then was, with the police being involved and the FA being involved, a lot of it we wanted to base on underprivileged kids. So kids that can't afford a pair of football boots, kids that can't go and play football because they can't afford the subs to play football. So what we intend to do starting next summer is do soccer schools. And then the advancement from that is, if we get 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 good kids that have got ability, we'll look at starting a small academy for underprivileged kids. So we'll have them over and they'll train with us twice a week. And if we can push them in the right direction and get them into the sport at whatever level, it doesn't matter, and they can make money out of it, then we've done our job. And that's the whole focus on everything we do. It's all about helping others.
One of the things...
Plus also, guys, we've also got a lot of companies on board who can offer these kids jobs and apprenticeships. If they do well with us, they'll get taken on. They might even just be a Saturday job to learn how to use a till in a shop, whatever. But we've got so many companies willing to help them also, get them a good start in life. And that's what the police want us to do, sort of thing. Yeah, and then occasionally at some of our games, we might invite a couple of them to play with the pros for us, sort of thing, if they're good enough, sort of thing. No, but get them that feeling what it's like.
if we can keep one or two kids from getting in trouble with the police and not being arrested and not get up to silly antics in the evenings when there's nothing else to do, then we've done our job, really. It's about trying to help these kids, and we'll supply as much of the stuff. We'll supply kits for them to come and training. We'll supply boots if they haven't got boots. We'll get sponsors that will cover more or less everything.
So it sounds like you two have been in this from the start. What amazed me, and we'll come on to this now if we can, Dan, is how it's grown from a couple of hundred to start off with a couple of thousand to where you are now. How hard was it at the start for you guys? The police have come to you and said, look, we want to keep these kids off the street and want you to do this, and it's grown organically from there. How hard was it to get sponsorship at the start of it? Because Dan, you've told me when we spoke on the phone that you've now got a good list of recognised businesses that are on the journey with you. That must have been hard to do that from the very start, Dan.
Yeah, it's from what me and Shaun's done in the past. We've sort of sponsors trust us because they know we do things right, and we don't take the mick out of them or anything. No, we don't. If a trophy costs £60, we'll ask for £60. We won't ask for 150 and then keep the rest and whatever. And so you gain trust on the sponsorship. But it's actually, in some cases now, we actually don't even need to advertise for sponsorship. We still do out of courtesy sort of thing, but we don't need to, because we could phone up about 10 people and the sponsors will be done within an hour now, because there's that many people want to put their name to what we're doing because they know it's such a good story. But as I say, in 3 years now, we've done £250,000. But there's also a lot more thousands of pounds on top of that, because now there's a lot of non-league clubs out there, grassroots clubs. They want us to go to the grounds because they know that they can make £10,000-15,000 in the bar that day, sort of thing, which keeps them alive. So, but we don't add that to the total. But there's all things like that, and then it's just we're doing a tournament next year. It's never been done in the country before, for 34 hospices in the northwest of England. So I put a call out. I wanted 6 teams, 3 matches that day, and we had 36 teams apply to play in the tournament next year. And it's so bad they only pick 6. So, but that's how much people want involved in Northwest Community Stars now.
That seems like a win-win to me, that you've got, it's good for the kids. You've got the charity aspect, but, from the grassroots of football, and let's face it, we know it doesn't trickle down as well as it should do. The fact that you've got these non-league clubs that are opening their gates to you, and you're playing at their place, and they're obviously making money from wets and food and all that kind of stuff. It's a complete win-win, isn't it, in grassroots football?
Yeah.
I mean, Rob, there is another twist to why the non-league clubs want to be part of what we are. We're affiliated to Bamber Bridge, which is just outside of Preston. So their manager plays in our team.
So is Bamber Bridge a football team?
Yes, yeah. Bamber Bridge FC. So Millie came to Dan and said, "Look, we're desperately struggling. We're gonna end up going to the wall if we don't get some money in. So what do? We went and played a game at Bamber Bridge. Now they took something like £9,000 over the bar that day.
8,000 off Teale. 8,000 that was Teale's drinks.
So that helped them, and they're still going to the point now where, funny enough, and he won't like me saying this, but Dan's now chairman of Bamber Bridge, because the one thing Dan can do, Dan can get money in from anywhere. So if they need a sponsor, Dan will get them a sponsor, guaranteed. There's no questions. He'll get the sponsors. He'll get the money through the gate. He'll make that club make money. And they've got huge debts that have to be paid off. But Dan stuck his nose out, become chairman, and that'll go well. The other upshot of all this is, with us being linked to Bamber Bridge.
Don't forget to mention yourself on that, Shaun.
Well, I know that, but I'm talking about you. Shut up.
Yeah, you're our guest today, Dan.
Yeah,
you're our guest. Remember,
the other upshot to this, Rob, is we can then go to the FA. We can then get grants off the FA, and we can get that pitch dug up and get a 4G pitch put down, which for the community will be totally invaluable, because all the teams around there will be able to hire it to train on, whether it's snowing, whether it's pouring down, whether it's dry. So the club will make money that way as well. But the community will gain from that, because they'll be able to have competitions on there. They'll be able to do this, i.e. the soccer school will be able to go ahead, whatever the weather. So it's a little bit of you scratch mine, I'll scratch yours with these non-league clubs. And we are picky. We don't go, oh, yeah, we'll come and play at your ground so you can get a grant, because we've got to trust them that they're doing it for the right reasons. It's not just about we're going to throw money around or we're going to get money for you and we get nothing back off it. Because first and foremost, the most important thing to me and Dan and the lads that play and the lads that play every week, and they turn up whatever, is Northwest Community Stars. It's all about the club.
Yeah. But what I will say, and all gents, is being involved in football. I never played the game, so this is the closest thing I've ever done in football, sort of the next best thing in playing. But Shaun will vouch for this, is the amount of the camaraderie at Northwest Community Stars is unbelievable. I've not one person spell out. Everyone, they turn up with a smile and just play, and they love it, don't they, Shaun?
When you've got people like Colin Hendry turning up to play, you've got Ricky Lambert, you've got Stuart Barlow, you've got the likes of Danny Coyd, who's these players are at every single game. Every single game, they never cry off, because they just enjoy playing. They enjoy the laugh we have. They enjoy seeing us give gifts away to people who are involved in the other side of it. So we always make a presentation to the people who have helped sort it all out. And the other thing is, we never keep a trophy. So there's always a trophy to play for. And usually we win it, but we always give it to the other side anyway. And it's just a thing we do as a club. We're not interested in trophies. Trophies mean nothing to us, really. We like to win the game, but we don't care about the trophy. It's about making that money for that cause and then giving everything to them.
What kind of crowds do you get turn up for these? Because I presume that when you started this project, you get maybe, 10, 20. I might be doing a disservice there, guys, so apologies if I am. But now you've built this up, and the Northwest now has got this reputation which has built up over the last 3 or 4 years. What kind of crowds are you getting?
It's getting a bit. You were correct there when you said the first game we played. I think there was only about 60 or 70 there, and then I think the Paul Fiddler one, I think it came in at 900 or something. And so next year's matches, like I'm choosing carefully. With teams charities that we can play, but teams that we play against that can bring a bit of a crowd and all sort of thing. Yeah. So I think next year you'll see us double our crowds quite easily. Next year I think there'll be the Hospices Cup. I'll come back on here and wear a Celtic top if I don't think, but I reckon there'll be about 2,000 at that one easy. That'll sell out, that Hospices Cup, because the interest is unbelievable in that one. So,
and would this be played during the summertime?
Yeah, in May. Yeah. Oh, we always try for when we never play in the winter, because obviously it's hard to get the pitches and whatever. Yeah. But our season starts next March, the end of next March, and it'll go through. And our last match is going to be for a food bank again next November, and that's it. And we'll have 6 matches in between. But by that time, I promised Shaun a job in football, sort of with the academy and things like that, and I'm on target to do that, because I want all the lads, at least about 3 or 4 of them, to have full-time jobs doing this now, if they can, with academies, and we are on target for that, especially with the FA. They've asked us not just up north and down south, they've actually asked us to roll it out across the whole country, even in the Midlands. I was going to mention,
yeah. There was 2 things that stood out, Dan, when we spoke on the phone. The £250,000 that you've raised, which is absolutely superb for what you've done. Blew me away when you told me that. But you've also got the FA involved now. So you've gone from your small acorns to where you are now. How did that come about with the FA?
I've always had a good relationship with a local FA, Lancashire FA, and it was a lady there who actually they put us in touch with a committee person at Lancashire FA, who then put us in touch with someone, an FA down south, and they asked us, could they do the same down there under our umbrella sort of thing? And I said, yeah, no problem whatsoever. And then that's it all came, but we've not had time to do it this past year. But now we're in schedule to get them open next year. So we've had Ricky Lambert got in touch with the people, and Matt Letizia, he thinks it's absolutely amazing what we do, sort of thing. And what other player, Gavin McCann, who played for England and Ireland, Bolton and Sunderland, he's been in touch with Michael Ball and Kevin Phillips up north. We think it's amazing. So you start getting all them involved, but that's where Shaun will become the centre leader. Shaun will be the whole director of coaching for the whole set up throughout the country then, which hopefully then a job in football.
Right, so Shaun is director of football. You obviously never saw him play then, Dan.
Oh no, he played for the managers, but Shaun's time's coming for next year. Shaun's time's coming for next year, where he's going to lead the whole football side of things then. And we've also just taken on a junior team and all for next year to play 3 times a year under our umbrella. And these are an under-11s team. They're already a team called Furness Rovers up in Barrow, but for 3 times a year they'll play under Northwest Community Stars juniors. But them kids they'll play for charity matches. So after each match, they'll give them money that they raise. It might only be a couple £100 at that level. It's the excitement that their wee faces to watch them doing that, and hopefully that continues them into their adult life, sort of doing charity stuff and whatever sort of thing. No, but they'll learn from guys like Shaun and things like that. No, because Shaun's technically their boss, sort of thing, if you know what I mean, and all. No, so
he knows his football.
Yeah,
he definitely knows his football. There's no doubt about it. And you've got, oh God, I'm going to be nice to you, man. Well, let me just write this down. Okay. And you've got one of the best people to do this with you.
I know. Yeah, I know.
You know that. I know that. You know, he's just one of the greatest human beings you can ever wish to meet.
All right.
Well, he is. I love my team.
He's very humble, Shaun.
He's
very humble. Because I bet you there's a lot of people out there that actually don't know what he does for charity, you know, and in my opinion anyway, you know. So
yeah, well, there's a lot of Villa fans that don't know what he did for football, but that's a different. I love him really. He knows that. Yeah. So okay, so what are you doing with Norwich City then? You mentioned that to me, and Shaun did at the start.
Yeah, well, there's a lad down there called Paul Sanford, and he runs the Railway Tavern pub in Dereham. I'm not sure it's Dereham or Dereham, whatever. It's outside Norwich, and I've been down a couple of times, and that's been voted the best sports pub in the country. And Paul is an amazing charity person, and he's just got involved now with Football Against Dementia. And they've got, like, say, Chris Sutton and Alan Brazil and all that, all running it down there with ambassadors and things. And Paul keeps asking us to go down the last couple of years, and we've never ever done it. So this year, for next year, he wants us desperately down there in August to go to, it's at Great Yarmouth against the Norwich City Legends for Football Against Dementia. And the big guy, I think Robert Fleck's the manager for them that played for Norwich. And then, as I say, you've got Chris Sutton, you've got Alan Brazil, they're all involved, Ken Browne, and I think it's guys like Will Fox and things like that that all play for them. So, but that'll be for that charity for Football Against Dementia. So,
and would that be against the Northwest team?
Yeah, against them. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah. You know what I'm thinking, Browne? We could do a bit of an outdoor thing next year.
I'm always up for it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. We can support. We can go and have you involved, Teale, when we do our podcast. Because one thing that I did want to mention, and we might as well talk about it now. We didn't do it this summer because we had a bit of a break, but we've got the World Cup next year.
We have,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We could do a couple of podcasts, couldn't we, and maybe get one of these in.
Don't mind.
Well, going back to that pub, gents, that I was talking about today with Tavern. If you go on Sky Sports or any YouTube channels, whatever, and look back, he's been on TV because he builds a stand in the pub car park for when England are playing at the Euros or the World Cup. and it's actually really good what he does. So he'll probably do that for next year and all with the tournament being on.
Well, that sounds even better. And Tealey buy us drinks all day.
Hey, they'd have built one for Scotland, but they only get to one of them competitions once every blue moon.
Yeah, just do it for the first week as always for them. I don't think the likes of Peru and these teams are in it. So Scotland might be all right. No, I mean it's fantastic for John McGinn. It's absolutely brilliant for John McGinn. And that game when you beat Denmark, I was up and jumping about. And I haven't got any Scot in me at all, but that must have been great for you, Dan.
I missed it.
Oh, really?
Actually, I was at a meeting at Bamber Bridge, believe it or not, and then I got back in my car, put the radio on, and it said Scotland have won 4-2, and I thought Scotland never score 4 goals. That's that there's a lie there somewhere. I've misheard it, whatever. But yeah, I watched it about 20 times sort of afterwards, sort of thing, when I got home. But
yeah, it was brilliant. It really was the way that game went. Gentlemen, we are almost out of time now. I love talk. It's great when we have people from the Premier League come in, and some of the football chief writers that we have on this show. We have some really good, well-known people on this, Dan, especially this year. And Shaun, of course, yeah. But it's his show, I've been too nice to him today. I'm going to really come back down to earth on the next one that we have just before Christmas.
Too nice.
But Dan, these stories are, massively important. We had a BBC reporter on a few months ago, or a few weeks ago, I should say, and he was talking about, where the soul of English football and where has the money gone. And it went down to the grassroots part, and to have these stories come in, it's just phenomenal. And a big round of applause to you two for what you've done. Be very, very proud. Yeah. It sounds like you're only just getting started.
Yeah. We've
got a long way to go yet.
Yeah, it's going to be a great legacy when we're all dead and gone, and hopefully the young kids will carry it on for years to come, sort of, because it's just growing and growing year on year.
Yeah, but I'll tell you where I had to laugh a little bit at the start of this, when you said the police phoned you and about Shaun Teale. I was thinking, I've had that a few times as well, but that's a different matter.
When I went up to the police station, I met the chief superintendent, chief inspector, whatever, and there was like 4 police officers around the table, and they brought out the little like china cup sort of thing and tea, and I laughed, and they said, "What are you laughing at?" I said, "Well, it's the first time I've been in a police station had a glass cup." No, but the police are back in this big time. They love it, what we're doing, sort of thing. And we've had to wait because we've now become a CIC club. And once we got that status, then that's when the police will sort of want to help us a lot more. Which there is things going on in the background which are happening, as Shaun knows, sort of thing with that. So
I think it's absolutely brilliant, guys. I really do. And I'm looking forward to, doing some more stuff with you guys in next summer when we do our podcast.
Any way I can help,
exactly. That would do that. And if you could, if you start doing it in the West Midlands and all that kind of stuff, and it sounds like you're taking it regionally, it can only be a good thing. And as you say, if you're keeping 3 or 4 kids from doing what they may have done, it's even
just
more.
One, really,
just one. And that's why.
The good thing and all, as well as doing that, it's we are helping so many different charities, which is great. You know what I mean? It's absolutely great. And Shaun will know you get pride when you hand all that money over. And I always say to people that it's the best after a match. It's the best night's sleep you'll ever have because you've helped so many people in one day just by turning up to play football.
There's 2 sayings, and I love both of them. Football is life, and football is community. And I think what you guys have done really does, accentuate that. So we've come to the end of the show, unfortunately, and not a great hour. Thanks, Dan. We will be having you back. And of course, I'll be giving you a call about some stuff. So we'll get that done very, very soon. As always, a big thanks to our sponsors. I've done it twice for them this week. Sometimes I don't mention them, but they keep on telling me to, so that's good. To Bowden and Dolphin signed, and obviously Luke 77 for our support. The show goes out on Monday.
Well, we can probably get it out earlier because we are 2 days early.
We are 2 days early.
I'll probably get it out for Friday if that's all right.
Yeah, we'll get it out for Friday. We'll send you the link, Dan.
Okay.
Get it out there to who you need to.
Yeah.
If they need to clip over Tealey's bits, they obviously can do. You know.
Okay.
Take it from there. And all I can say, it's nice to have you on this show, and it's nice to see Teale in a t-shirt or whatever he's got on, because when he's in Spain, he becomes
not nice, is it?
Yeah, it's page
nice.
3 Teale.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. Gents, thanks very much for coming on to the TSS podcast. I'm thanking Teale there for coming on to his own podcast, but Dan, you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
We'll speak to you soon. Thanks very much, guys.
Yes, thanks very much.
Cheers, Dan.
Up the Villa.
Yeah.